Hi, this is how to set up Snort on a Linux machine by Tiffany Cross. So first we're going to install Snort. To do this we need to make a directory so it'll be easier. We're just going to name it Snort src, and we're just going to use this command to just go into that folder so it saves time. So once we're in that folder we want to get the files from the Snort website and put them in the folder. So this is the website here. I'm just going to copy and paste it. And that should do it. Okay, it's installed. So now it's a tar file, so we have to unzip it. So this should do it. Yes, and then we will go into that directory that we just made. So now the next step would be to configure it and run the configuration script. And also we're just going to compile it too. Yep, and there it goes. This might take a minute. Oh, okay, and it's done. And now we're just going to go back to the Snort src directory because we still have to download the Snort source code. Because what we just downloaded was something called DAQ, which is Data Acquisition Library. So now we actually have to get the source code. So this would be the website for the source code. It downloads much faster. It's a tar file, so we just do that. That should only take a second once I hit enter. Yep. And we go back into the main directory. So now what we want to do is we want to configure Snort to run in NIDS mode. So the first thing we're going to do is configure the installation with SourceFire and run make install. This might take a minute or so, I believe. So we're just going to put these commands in. And here comes the configuring. We start with updating the shared libraries. We're just going to go ahead and make sure that it installs in the right place. Okay, and then now that that's done, it's all set up, it's all configured. Now we need to set up usernames and folder structures. We don't want to use root access, so we should create a new unprivileged user, like so. So now we just have to create folders to store the Snort configuration. We're just going to make multiple directories. This might take a second for me to type all in. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, now we're going to have to go ahead and change the permissions for the new directories. This also will take a very long while because we have to change permissions for all of them. And just a note, whenever the screen gets cleared without me pushing clear, that was usually where I ran into a problem, so I paused it and or I just stopped the recording and then started recording again once I fixed the problem. So you might see that happen multiple times on this video, but that's just because I ran into some type of problem. The screen didn't magically clear itself. Only one more after this one, and then we should be done with permissions. Okay, and now we need to create new files for the white and black lists, and also local rules. But yeah, the hardest part about installing Snort would probably be the tedious part of having to do all this type of stuff. Even on Windows, you have to go inside and kind of configure everything to your liking, and it's something that takes some knowledge to do. Sadly, it's not super easy where you can just install it and it's just going to run. Now local rules. Okay, so now what we want to do is copy the configuration files from the download folder. Okay, yeah, now we need to customize it. This is probably, the most important part for it to work. There's a file called snort.conf. This is the configuration file that you're going to need to mess with. So the most important thing is to make sure that you set up the network address you're protecting, and you have to put your IP address in. I'm using my virtual machine from school, so I'm just going to put that IP address in. Also, the second paragraph or second line over there, you have to make sure that you put not HomeNet, since the exclamation point means not. Next, you're just going to have to fix these paths. You just have to put where you stored these files. They're all in etc/snort/ whatever the file that is at the end, so I'm just going to go ahead and edit those. And you'll have to do them for all three of them. It's a little hard traversing down this really long file because it's a lot of information, a lot of things. I'm not gonna mess with too much stuff. I don't want to do something wrong, so I'm just gonna do the basics. Teach you guys how to do the basics. This is what pretty much everyone has to do when they get in Snort, whether it's on Windows or on Linux. I found that out the hard way because I tried doing this on Windows in the beginning. Same exact thing. So we're just going to search for it because it's kind of hard to find things around here. Like I said, it's a very big file. Very hard to find things, so I'm just going to search by using Control-W. And here it is, set the absolute path. We just have to fix these right here. Actually, they're right under the last ones. I didn't even notice that. Regardless, we just have to do the same exact thing we did before. Make sure we put where those are located, where those files are going to be located, so it can find them. And that'll be that. So now we still have some more stuff to do. We have to find something. I believe it's in section 6. It's like #unified2 is what it says in the beginning. So we're just going to go ahead and find that in section 6. It's going to be a while down. once we get there, what we're trying to do is we're trying to set the output to log under a file name. We're going to name it snort.log so it can store all the logs in there. So we're just going to go ahead and erase all this on this line, except for file name. Up till file name, that's where we don't have to erase. Okay, now we put snort.log, and then we're going to limit 128, and that's that. Now the last thing we have to do is make sure that we include local rules. Which, going through this video, I believe was at the top of the line. But, I didn't notice that. It still runs either way, but, it was already installed on this one. Usually it isn't, but for some reason it was installed. But I'm just going to go ahead and still show this, because it's not always written in. So, and that's that. And we're just going to go ahead and save that file. Usually when you push Control X, or you can push Control O to save. Control O is another command to do it. Control X, and you always push yes to save, and then you make sure you save. Now we have to validate it works. This is the last and final step. So we just have to type in a simple command. I copied and pasted it. It's right there. And at the very bottom, it does say that it was verified. I'm going up just to be sure that everything worked okay. And it was successfully verified, so it is working. And that's how to install Snort. I hope you guys found this useful.